Biodiversity or biological diversity comes from two words, bio and diversity. Bio meaning life and diversity meaning variety. So biodiversity can be defined as the variety of living organisms on Earth. In this context, it is important to remember these points. The first one is that biodiversity is dependent on two factors. As you increase the area, the number of species available increases. The variety found in 5 km square area would be more than the variety found in 1 or 2 km square area. Biodiversity is also dependent on time. The variety available at a particular time would not be same as variety available after 1 year or at times even after a month. Species found are dependent on season and in long run on the changes in landscape, evolution, etc. Now finally, the number of species known and described on Earth is approximately 1.7 to 1.8 million. There is one more very important thing that we need to remember about biodiversity. The term biodiversity was coined by W.G. Rosen. A few more points about biodiversity. We just saw that there are millions of living organisms on Earth. New organisms are continuously being identified and some known organisms are also becoming extinct. So biodiversity is a dynamic concept, but we need to study about the organism around us. Why? Because they are very important for us. Considering all these problems, it is very difficult to identify and describe each of these organisms. So how do we study these? We classify them into groups to make our work easier, just as a shopkeeper would keep different items in different shelves and tag them to locate them easily. So this is the need for classification. Let's summarize. Classification makes it easier to know about the vast variety of organisms. It helps us to identify, describe, name and compare organisms, and universally accepted names can be given to organisms to make it easier to study. With to the next important term, taxonomy. The term that we studied with respect to need for classification, that is description, identification, naming and classification, are included in taxonomy. So taxonomy is the branch of biology that deals with identification, description, nomenclature and classification of organisms. Now we already discussed why we need classification, but why do we need to name an organism? Rose or mango already has a name. So does a dog or a frog. Why do scientists have to give them new and complicated names? We just discussed rose. This is how rose is named in different languages across the world. A scientist studying rose in India may not be able to correlate the research from Indonesia or China. Similarly, the common flower name pansy refers to several different species of flower. If you have derived a medicinal compound from pansy, others might have difficulty deciphering which pansy plant you are talking about. Scientific terminology has to be precise without any confusion, and that is why biologists give names so that we all know which organism we are talking about. The scientific names are decided based on set of rules or codes. For botanical names, the codes are decided by ICBN or International Code for Botanical Nomenclature. For animals, ICZN or International Code for Zoological Nomenclature. Now these rules are universal and ensure two things: Every organism has a unique name. No other organism is known by the same name. The same unique name is used by scientists all over the world for that organism. So scientific names are unique and universal. To ensure these features, there are some patterns and rules that are followed for nomenclature, and this is known as binomial nomenclature, or giving a set of two names to an organism. Binomial nomenclature is a system of naming living organisms. It was given by Carolus Linnaeus. Now, before we go ahead with the nomenclature, a small ode to this great personality of science. He gave the first formal system of classification and therefore is known as father of taxonomy. He started with binomial nomenclature, or giving a set of two names to organisms. Before Linnaeus, polynomial nomenclature was used, which was names made of 7 to 8 words. You can imagine how complicated these names would be. Linnaeus also gave the term taxa or taxon, which we'll do later. 3 of his most prominent books are Systema Naturae, Genera Plantarum and Species Plantarum. Now, let's get back to binomial nomenclature. The first word is the generic epithet and gives the name of genus to which the organism belongs. The second word, the species name or the specific epithet. Now you can see the examples being displayed on your screen. All the names are of 2 words. Now what else do you notice? Pause the video and write anything else you notice about how these names are written. Then we'll go ahead and make a list of rules to be followed during binomial nomenclature. The first name represents the name of genus or is generic epithet. It is written beginning with a capital letter. The second word represents the species name or is the specific epithet. It is written in small letters. Now both the words when typed are in italics, and if handwritten they are underlined. Both the words are underlined separately. Now scientific names are derived from Latin. Even if they are derived from any other language, once taken as a scientific name, once accepted as a scientific name, they are considered to be Latin. That is, they are Latinized. So irrespective of the language of origin, scientific names are considered to be Latin. Now finally, the name of the author is written after the specific epithet and is in abbreviated form. Example, Mangifera indica, Linn. Linn stands for Linnaeus. The author is the one who gave the scientific name. And as you can see, the author's name is not in italics, and if it is handwritten, it is not underlined. This we come to the end of this session and giving you some questions to help you assess your understanding. Try solving them once you have understood the content of the video. Please do not go back to the video every time you are not able to answer any of these questions. First try solving them all, then go back to the video for checking or for revision. Wish you all the best. Thank you.